Hey y'all, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Bailey.
Welcome to Living on a Prayer.
We're two best friends who are here to keep it real and relatable.
Through life's hills and valleys, we're here to remind you we're all just living on a prayer. Before we really dive in, I just have been, following the Olympic gymnasts because that's the big thing I really
so
like.
Random.
No, it's not. We're in the middle of the Olympics.
I know, but okay, keep going.
This just keeps weighing on me after seeing it. I love Simone Biles, okay? I think that she stands for a lot of great things. And last night, why are you laughing at me?
I am so tickled.
Because you don't know what I'm about to say.
Yes, and I'm just it's just when one of my kids is about to talk and I'm what are they going to say? Who are they going to tell?
No, this is good. This is
No,
powerful.
I trust you, girl. It's just funny. It's silly.
Okay.
Okay.
So last night, I saw that she was in an interview and she spoke up and somebody asked her something and she came back and just said, y'all really got to stop asking all of these athletes what's next for them after they win a medal in the Olympics. And
that's good.
I was like, ooh, clap back. Because really, everything in life,
right.
You don't have the opportunity to be present and enjoy what you're in because everyone around you is always waiting for the next thing. And
I'm just sitting here thinking about honestly, there's probably not as far as sports goes, that's the top of the top. What do you mean? What's next for you?
Well, I think.
Or do they mean what are you gonna do in life?
Because she's really kind of done.
So they're kind of asking what are you gonna do now that because gymnastics is over for you?
Yeah, because I think this was her this is pretty much her
That's
retirement
kind of
run.
It's when they ask when are you gonna be married? When are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna have your next kid?
So I think that maybe that was them being okay, so now that you are the all-time highest
and
decorated
just
gymnast,
enjoying,
are you gonna have a baby next? What's next?
Wait, I actually saw an article that she's pregnant.
She's pregnant.
Is that real?
I don't know. I think a few people have said that.
She was out there flipping and flopping with that baby up and down.
She might be. There is a
that is so cool.
No, there was a fencer.
Say, I was pregnant with you when I was flipping.
But you know the fencing?
Yeah.
There is a girl that is 7 months pregnant, and she didn't tell anybody until her last fencing match the other day.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding. I read it. I read all about it.
See, moms can do whatever.
But them tabloids might be lying too. But no,
yeah,
but this girl,
I just saw it on Facebook. I was like, oh, she's pregnant? That's cute.
Yeah, but I don't know. But there's, the swimmer. I can't think of her name right now.
Oh, that girl is good.
Yeah, but she was on the Good Morning America a couple days ago, and she had just won her last gold of the week.
Right.
And they're like, I don't know that you've even thought about this yet, but we're going to ask you. I'm like, if you have to preface it with that, don't ask.
Okay, note to self, stop asking people questions.
But I think just think before you speak,
well,
let
that
her
kind
enjoy
of leads,
her golds.
That leads into our topic for today.
What's our topic for today,
Think before you
girl?
speak, you said.
Yeah.
Gosh, okay, so today I was at Whole Foods and I was just getting us these little coffees. I was all chipper because I haven't seen Kristen in a
2
year.
Weeks. It's so dramatic.
2 weeks. I was just so excited to come record today, and I was literally in such a cheerful mood. I was listening to my worship music on the way to Whole Foods. I'm getting us some coffee, and the girl I walk up to the counter and she's staring at me
what do you want?
Say it. And I was like, hi. And she's like, can I help you? And just this mean face. And I was like, yeah, can I do an iced sugar-free vanilla latte? I don't have sugar-free. I'm like, okay, well, regular vanilla's fine with oat milk. And she's like, and I had said a large or something. I don't have a large. I have regular. You can have regular. You can have nothing. And I'm like.
She said that?
Yes. And I was like, well, regular then. I kind of got an attitude back. I was like, well, I'll just have regular then. How about that? And I was just and then I just kind of was checking myself and thinking, okay, what's going on here? Why are me and this barista in a fight?
We're in a fight and she doesn't even know it.
First of all, I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm literally just getting a coffee. There's no need for like this hostile energy. What did I say?
I don't know you. You don't know me. I'm just getting a coffee.
Hey, coffee, hey. But seriously, I was just like, all right. So then she starts checking me out. I got this like chicken salad wrap, and it said like, today only the chicken salad wrap's 50% off. I didn't even notice it. I just wanted it. Okay. So she's like, oh, well, I don't know how to do this. 50% off. And I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, honestly, you don't have to do it. Like, I'll pay it. Like, I'm just like, I'm kind of in a hurry. And she's like sitting on the computer, and she's like, ugh. And she gets up and like just walks away. So I was like,
cool.
Okay. So I don't really know she doesn't say a word, just like walked away. So I'm just standing there. And then a manager comes back, puts in the code. And while they were gone, I'm just like thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, really, what's going on here? Like, why is this girl being so mean to me? And then I'm like being mean back to her because it like just made me annoyed. And I'm like, you better not be mean to me. I can be mean to you too. Like, this whole thing was like, and then I'm like, okay, pause, give her grace. You have no idea what she's going through, what happened today. She could be dealing with something. But then I thought, that's not fair either to like just be mean to someone who's like super nice to you just because you're having a bad day. So I was like literally thinking all this through in my head while I'm waiting. And the manager comes, they check me out, and I'm like, I'm just going to be nice because that's who I am. Like, I'm not going to just be mean. So I was like, thank you so much. You didn't have to do that. And she just kind of like looked at me, and like I just saw something kind of soften. She's like, you're welcome. Okay. And like keeps checking me out. And then she's like, all right, your coffee will be ready in a second. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Like, I'm like looking her in the eyes, being nice. And I slowly watched her like get nicer. And then when I got the coffees, she was like, I said, thank you so much. Have a blessed day. And I was like, I'm just going to keep you in my prayers. And I was just like so chipper. And she's like,
you said that?
Yeah. And she was like, thank you. Thank you. You have a blessed day. And I like literally watched like her whole demeanor change. And I was like, okay, so here's a quick mini lesson at the Whole Foods coffee station. But like, God gives us so much grace and so much mercy every single day. And it's like, he wants us to be that way to people. He wants us to also give grace and give mercy. And I think a lot of times people get those two words like, what's grace, what's mercy? And I one day was like really reading up on it because I was like in this Bible study I'm doing, she kept saying like, God gives you mercy, God gives you mercy. And I was like, what's really like the difference between mercy and grace? Like, to me, it kind of like, which they go together. Yeah. But mercy is basically when someone gives you mercy, they're giving you something you like really don't deserve. Like, you could be ugly, you could be, sinning, you could be doing all these things, but grace would give grace, but mercy is like, you do not deserve this, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. And that's what God does for us. Like, we do not deserve all of the things he provides, all of the love he gives, all of his forgiveness, like all of that. We do not deserve that, but he gives it to us anyway. Mm-hmm. So like, who are we to not do that
to others?
So even though it was just like a quick little interaction, it just kind of was like this like moment for me that's like, because sometimes you just go somewhere and people are just like ugly, and you're just want to be ugly back because you're just like,
what did I do to you?
Like, okay, great. Like, and I've like snapped back at people before that I don't even know, just because I'm like, who are you to do that?
But and then it also puts you in a bad mood or like changes.
It did. I was like,
yeah.
I was like so chipper, and now I'm like in a fight with the barista.
Right.
But it happens all the time. Like, these kind of things, like giving grace through whatever it may be, giving yourself grace. Mm-hmm. I mean, how often are we just like so hard on ourselves and like do not give ourselves any grace? Because
what's grace? Like,
so
just giving yourself room.
Yes, like being more like gentle and open to allowing like, look,
things happen.
Yes, like give yourself grace. You messed up, but did you purposely do that? No. Are you going to fix it? Yes. Do you have a plan moving forward? Yes. Give yourself grace. Same with like last night, I flipped on my kids before bedtime. They were like literally so tired. They were fighting over, they both wanted me to lay with them. And I was like, I cannot lay with both of y'all. Like, I literally can't. I'm one human. And I was just like, afterwards, so upset with myself. I literally was just like, I cannot believe I snapped at them. But it was like, I, in that moment, needed to just give them grace. They were both like so tired. They both just wanted their mom, but they were acting out because of it. But in that moment, I did not give them grace. I was just like, I flipped, because to me, it was just, what do y'all not understand that I can't be in both of y'all's room? And they were just fighting. I need mom. And I'm like, I need to go downstairs. Like, but just in that moment, it was like, I absolutely should have given grace. And there's so many times in our lives that we go through things, go through seasons, go through just experiences like I had, to where it's like, if we could all just give each other grace, like, think how different life could feel. Like, how smooth it could be.
Yeah. I think that's the end of the episode.
What? We're just like staring at each other. I'm really like so tickled. I can't stop laughing, and now I'm sweating. The end of the episode has been like 5 minutes.
I know. That was a good one.
That was pretty good. So should I read from here? Oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Okay, so she's like, and that's it. I'm like, you didn't even talk. Like, that was a solo episode written and produced by me. Like, are you even here?
Now she's going to edit it too.
I'm going to edit this episode. Oh, we could talk about, okay, hold on. Let me finish this, and then we can talk about how we've been being attacked.
Whew.
We've been being attacked. Yeah, we'll get there. But this is, a lot of people have actually asked me lately what Bible I read, just because I'm always like, and here's a little blurb that makes it more understandable. And I love it. It's the One Step Closer Bible. In the back, there's the huge help finder section, which I love. There's lots of like little paragraphs that just kind of explain things more in our terms. So I love it. But this was the section on, I went to look up grace, and it was like, see mercy and grace. So then I had to go to mercy. And so they really do like tie together, but they are two different things. So I just liked what it said here. It's kind of a long little paragraph, so just bear with me. And if I...
You want me to read it so people can hear my voice?
I'm like, shoot, I need to...
All right, where is it? Ooh, mercy and grace. See also compassion, forgiveness, and justice. Ooh. Okay. You didn't know it said that, did you?
No, I didn't see that. But that's a thing that just like, I love about that too, because it just really ties things together, and you're just like, whoa.
It's
like,
all connected.
Justice to mercy and grace to do da 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 ba da da.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Okay, mercy and grace. Justice is getting what we deserve. Mercy is not being punished for what we deserve. Grace is showing kindness to those who don't deserve it. In a sense, grace is mercy in action. The uniqueness of both mercy and grace is that they are given when the person receiving them doesn't expect it. The Bible tells us how God has extended grace to all people by offering salvation, eternal life with Him for free. Can I put a pin in this?
Well, yeah, and like honestly, you don't have to read the whole thing.
No,
if
I
you
want
don't
to.
But like,
but I want to put a pin in that because I was listening to some stuff yesterday, and this kind of ties back with what we were talking about a couple episodes ago, with your relationship with God and your relationship with church, and in whatever whatever age you in that relationship, right? And how we were saying, when Christians get pushy and it kind of makes people like turn away.
Right.
But I was listening to something yesterday about how, that this is kind of why like people turn away from God and Jesus and from the church. It's not because they don't love Jesus. Like,
right.
They do. It's not Jesus that they don't love. They don't love some Christians because some Christians act like they just deserve.
They're entitled.
Worthy. They're very entitled.
Entitled. That's a good word.
Because of the salvation.
Or prideful even on like where they stand with Jesus compared to where you stand with Jesus. They're
right.
Like,
but it's like an entitlement of like, I know blah, 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 blah. Not that we are, I don't even know what word to say. Yeah.
Merciful.
Yeah. And it's just that's.
It's true, and it's like
the salvation was free, right?
Right.
Like we get Jesus forgives us, right?
Instantly,
but it's like some Christians are just like, well, I can do it because he forgives me.
Right.
Rather
or
than like feeling like, oh, I did that and that really was like not in
right. Like, oh, I'll do this
good
because he's going to
graces.
forgive me anyway. Like,
Right.
no, that's not. But, and like you just read in that paragraph, it was, did it say grace is like the action of mercy?
Grace is mercy in action.
Yeah. Like, I love that because even just when you had just asked me before, you're like, what is grace? I was like, like you say it all the time, give me grace, but like to be able to really like put it into words what it was, I was like, I don't know actually, but just that it's the action of being mercy for people. And it said like mercy is
not being punished for what we deserve.
Grace
is showing kindness to those who don't deserve it.
Right. So it's like that's why they tie in so well together, is like mercy, one is what it means, and then one is like the action of doing it. Yeah. And I love that because it's so true. Like there's so many things that happen on this earth that you're just, how many times have you been like, well, she just doesn't deserve that. Like, she doesn't deserve that from me. Or she, like, I do all this. Like, she doesn't deserve that. Like, or he doesn't deserve that. Or they don't deserve, whatever it is. But, like, those were, like, that little phrase coming out of your mouth, like, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve it. Yeah. Like that. It's like, we don't deserve what God has for us, what he's prepared for us, because we're out here sinning, doing all this stuff that he asks us not to do, you know, but immediately he's forgiving us. He's given us grace and mercy. Like, he's just like, yeah, you don't deserve this. You should be punished, but I love you so freaking much that I'm just going to go ahead and wipe this clean and you can try again. Yeah. Like, how amazing.
And move on.
How amazing is our God to be able to just know, like, truly, like, he's going to do that for us. And it's just truly like, nothing compares to that for me.
Well, I think I like recently have been in a couple situations where like people have barked back at others. And honestly, I've done it a little bit recently. And I know me personally, the reason that I've done it, and it's not okay, but it's like really because of what I'm going through. Like the stuff that I'm like walking through and like just trying to figure out, like somebody can ask me something at just the wrong time and I'm like, yeah. And then
which could have been the barista with me. Like, who knows? Right. She could have just like went through something major and like walked up because she was on her break. So like walked up and is like, huh.
But I just recently like was in a situation where I watched it happen with two people that like I love very much, or like something happened a few weeks ago and I was with like another individual in the situation and she just was like telling me about everything that she's going through. Right. And then like whatever happened recently, like I know what this person's going through, but I've watched them like take it out on other people or whatever. And until you get to the root of it, it's like you hurt somebody else, but you didn't necessarily mean to.
Right. Like you're hurting.
And
your
then
hurt
you look at
caused hurt on someone else.
You look at like what they're going through and you're like, okay, well, we do have to give them a little bit of grace because it's like, I have not walked in their shoes.
Right. And
I don't know what that feels like. And I don't know what I would do if I was that person.
You have no, that's so big. Like there's so many times that it's like, oh, my, I can't believe blah, blah, blah is acting like that or saying that and da-da-da. But,
and then you find out, like, that they're going through a divorce.
And you're like, oh, my gosh. Like, can you imagine? Like, I don't know.
Well, no wonder she doesn't trust me. She doesn't trust her husband.
Right. Like, there's some serious, like, things that people go through. And some people aren't open. They're not good at talking about it. They might be just carrying that, like, internally. So when someone bothers them or says something, like, it is so easy for them to just like you said, like you have stuff going on. So when someone kind of even says like the wrong thing, you're like, okay, cool. But like really that's on you.
Yeah.
It's and you know that.
It's just because of like what you're going through.
Yeah. And it's like, that's the whole point of like giving grace, and you hear it all the time. You don't know what someone's going through. Just be kind. But it's so true.
And it doesn't, unfortunately, like on the other side of it, like it doesn't make it okay.
No, it is not an excuse. But that's why we just have to know we're giving the grace and the mercy. And
when somebody does that to me, like I'm acting like I'm on the other side of it. Or when I watch it happen to somebody, I recently, like in my more last few months, maybe years of life, like I've sat back a little bit more and been like, but what are they going through?
Right.
Because sometimes you don't know.
You have no idea.
And then if people will open up about, like, if that person will open up about it later on down the road, or like they're ready to talk about it and share it,
Right.
you're like, wow, your walk is really hard.
Right. And so,
And now
like,
now I understand why you acted the way you did, or said the things you said.
yeah, like you said earlier, a lot of times it's not about the person being attacked. It's about the person attacking. Like,
Yeah.
they have stuff that they're carrying, that they're going through, and sometimes it just starts to spill over. And that's where we come in as good Christians to just give the grace, because we, again, have no idea what they're going through. If it's, first of all, it takes nothing to just be nice.
It costs $0 to be kind.
Literally $0. Really doesn't, it shouldn't take that much energy. I feel like it takes me more energy
It takes you
to
more
be
energy
mean.
to be mean.
So, like, if you can just back to the barista, like, at first I kind of had an attitude, and then I was like, you know what, that's not me. Like, I have no idea what this girl's going through. I don't want to be mean to this stranger.
Well, and if you would have been mean to her, you probably could have made it worse. Like,
I
she could
think
have been
I
like,
think it
this
would have
is why
escalated.
I'm in a terrible mood today, because this
Yeah.
person was mean to me. Now this girl's being mean to me.
Yeah,
And
like, this random girl
Yeah.
was mean to me when I told her we didn't have sugar-free vanilla.
Right.
And, like, you know, like, it's those little bitty things. And if we just could compare it, like we've been saying, to how Jesus gives us grace, like, and even just, we're not going into forgiveness majorly today, because that's a whole nother topic, but how he forgives and all of these things instantly, and we're just like, whew, thanks God. Hey, can you give me some grace? I was a total a-hole today, but, like, can you forgive me? That new day. But, like, we don't treat people like that.
Right.
We're not like, well, she's just gonna forgive me, so let me tell her how ugly she looks. No. Are you kidding? Like, so if we are so easily just, like, could take advantage of the fact that, like, God's good, like, oh, he'll forgive us, but, like, we can just treat people like that. It's just like, no. And
that's why people turn away from the church and from Christianity.
Exactly, because they're like, oh, you say you're a Christian and you go to church every Sunday.
I don't want to be like that.
But you just said, what about who? Like, that was ugly.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, great, well.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want to be like that.
Giving us a bad rep out here.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, it happens. We're sinners. We're going to do stuff. Like, we say it on here. We're vulnerable. We're real all the time about things we say and do that we're just like, well,
that
well,
didn't
damn.
make me feel better.
That wasn't great.
Yeah.
But I said it and I did it. And I'm just like, you know, it's part of life being a human. But at the same time, if you could, like, keep it in the back of your mind to just wherever you go, like, don't you want people to give you grace? Like, when you're having a bad day and you may not be like yourself, or you may not show up the way you always do, like at work or whatever it may be, and you just know, like, people are going to tell I'm upset today, or people are going to tell I'm not myself, whatever. Like, wouldn't you want people to give you grace? Like, if you're walking through something tough. So, like, why can't we just, like, return the favor?
We should,
you know?
be able, I mean, we should.
Yeah.
We should be able to.
We should.
It costs $0 to be kind.
How many dollars does it cost to be kind?
It's free.
Oh my gosh, we love a freebie, girl math. It's free to be nice.
Yeah.
It costs you nothing. It's just so true. Like, literally. And it does take less energy, because, I mean, I genuinely enjoy being nice to people and, like, seeing them. Like, I'll be at random spots. I'm like, thank you so much, wherever. And they're
People are like, what?
You're welcome so much. Like, whoa, girl. Yeah. Why are you so nice?
Okay, wait. I think about this all the time. Do you ever, like, go to dinner or lunch with people and when the waiter, like, brings you another drink or, like, refills your Coke or your water or
my Diet Coke?
Yeah, whatever.
I would really like a crispy Diet Coke right now.
I can't even believe you drink that. I hate the taste of it.
I can't believe you
I know,
don't.
unpopular opinion. Ooh, I can't.
Kristen likes the red can, as Jude calls it.
Yeah.
She likes the real
I like the real deal.
And I'm over here with, give me that silver.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, when the
Can I get a Diet Coke up to the pod studio, please? What if we had
You can go take a walk and get one and I'll say my thought.
No, I'm not leaving.
All right. Yeah, this is a good thought.
I
okay.
feel good about this.
You know when a waiter or waitress comes and
Fills your
refills
drink.
something or brings you a plate or
your
takes
sweet
something
tea.
away. Yeah, or your sweet tea.
Episode
baby.
4. Is it
Shout
episode
out.
4?
Yeah.
Shout out to episode 4. Go listen to it if you skipped and just heard this one. You need to go listen to episode 4.
Okay, so when a waiter or waitress or a server or bus attendant, whatever, comes, what?
Kristen, go. Just don't look at me.
When they come refill something or do something at your table, whatever. They, like, I don't know why. I've gotten in the habit, I think, for as long as I can remember, like, I'll say thank you. Like, it's just, like, a habit. Like, thank you so much.
That's nice.
For refilling my water, right? I didn't ask you to. Like,
right. Wow.
Even if I did ask you to, great. That was nice. Okay. So, I do that, and I've been, like, at tables recently where, like, people will be in the middle of a conversation, or they'll just sit there and they'll just, like, look at the person and go back to, like, doing what they're doing. And, like, I don't think that they
mean it.
They don't
but
mean
to me,
it.
I'm like, I'm like an overthinker.
They don't know that they're doing it. They're just like
this is your job.
You're refilling my water. Ooh. And I get so
uncomfy.
No, I get so heated. Like, I can't
like,
stand when people. But that's, I think, like, they expect it. Like, that's your job.
Honestly, I think everyone can think of that one person they don't want to go out to eat with, because the experience, you're so, like...
I have a few. But here's the thing. I tell them, like, when I leave, I'm like, can you tell... That wasn't cool. I'm like...
You're like, instead of just enjoying the lunch, you're so embarrassed the whole time, because they're just like...
I'm like, that made me so...
Oh, where's the server? Oh, I cannot believe we didn't get more water. Hey, my friend needs another water. And you're just like, I'll just lick the floor. I'm good. I don't need my meal. I don't need anything. I'm going to tip you 700% now because I'm mortified. But, like, seriously, that is, like, that happens. And I'm like, oh, thank you for, like, for
You
her.
want to say thank you for your people.
Like, someone's getting their water refilled. I'm like, she says thank you.
But that's the same thing as this. Like, we don't always, we just expect things.
Yeah, it's true.
I say we, like, Christians, just sometimes expect things. And that's why some people don't want to be in the room with you.
Right.
Or don't want to be a part of your church or your community or even your friend and go to dinner with you, because you're somebody that just, like, expects things.
Right, and it's just like...
You're not thankful for them. It's like, that's what you're supposed to do. Like,
and that's just Jesus, not kind.
You're going to forgive me. You're going to fill my water up because that's your job, right?
And it's also just, like, not kind.
I'm
like, I really am, like, thinking about how many times, like, I go out to eat with people and I'm like... Or if they're, like, the server's just kind of, like, off. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Who's at this table is about to get pissed.
Again. You don't know what they're going through on the other side. Or, like, I don't know, when somebody goes at a waiter or waitress, like, about their food in, like, such an ugly manner. And it's like, they didn't cook it.
Or, like, whoever did cook it might have, like, just made a mistake, too. Like, I cannot stand, like, this was supposed to have onions on it. Like, whoa.
Like, you can just say, like,
give some grace, baby. Like, hey.
Can you bring a side of onions?
You'll have some onions in the bag.
Yeah.
Calm down. Pump the brakes.
Right?
But that, I feel like it happens so often in restaurants.
And it's just sometimes about your delivery.
It is. Your delivery is everything. Back to, like, a couple episodes ago, like, how we said your words are so powerful, and the way you say things and do things and your demeanor and your actions can literally change everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, texting conversations get me so, like if it could be a basic conversation, but you don't know how they're, like, saying it.
Right.
You don't know if they were like, hey girl, yeah, that's great, or like, hey, yeah, that's great. Like, and I'm the person that's like, there's no exclamation point, there's a couple like, is she mad, like, is she like, and it's like, if they would have just said it to me in person, I would have been able to immediately tell, like, oh, she's pissed, or like, oh, good, she's good.
The other day, somebody texted me and they were like, sure. I'm like, so do they really want to hang out with me? Or they're like,
oh, sure. So you're like, you want to hang out? And they were like, sure. See, I would have been like, okay, I'm just going to move.
I'm like, you don't really have to. Like, I'm not forcing you. Like, I am not forcing you.
My mom actually is a texter like that, but thank goodness I know that she texts like that.
My mom responds, okay.
Okay, me too.
With
Mine
no
too.
punctuation. I'm like, that was not a...
Mine too. Not even okay, A-Y, just like,
okay.
And I'm like, oh, she's mad.
But, like, with no... Yeah, but, like, with no... Sometimes...
No.
I'm like,
no,
hey, Mom,
nothing.
That wasn't a... I asked you a question and you responded, okay. I'm like, there was no answer.
I know. My mom
The question was, do you want to pick me up or do you want me to meet you there?
And she said, okay.
And I'm like...
So she answered one of those to herself. Like, she was probably like, okay, I'll pick you up, or okay. I'll meet you there. My mom
Like
does
either
that.
didn't read it fully
Yeah,
or just
she just
responded
picked
to
which
the
section
end.
she wanted. My mom does that, and I've told her before. I'm like, thank God I know that you like love me and like how nice you really are because
Could be a
you are a
generational
mean
thing.
texter. And she's like, I'm a mean texter. I'm like, mean.
Could be a generational thing.
Like she'll just that okay all the time. Just sure.
Or do you
Sure.
just take it because you're spiraling?
Well, I am like often spiraling. But also, I think like when in person, like if I was like, Mom, do you want to come to lunch with us? She's like, okay, great. But on text, she'd be like, sure.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, you don't have to come. She's like, why wouldn't I come? Like, period. Why wouldn't I? And it's just like, can you call me? I need to hear your tone really quick. So just like the delivery, like when people say something to you or like their body, like you can read them in person and it could really like make or break a situation, a conversation, someone's day. Like,
yeah.
It's all like about the delivery.
But you can also change somebody's day with the way that you respond.
Yes. So that's what I think kind of happened in that 20-minute coffee order situation. Like
But
it
maybe
started
there was a
and
reason,
it
like
really turned.
she was really upset that she was late. Usually it's me. And she was like, great, I'm the late one today, but like I'm going to have to tell you about this. I'm like, okay, sounds good. But there's a reason that
There's
you were.
a reason.
Okay, so another thing that I listened to recently was talking about how like we really sometimes are put in positions not for ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
But for others. And it's the energy that you bring into the room and God is using you as a tool.
I got the chills.
For someone else.
That's really powerful, and it's a really good way to look at it because sometimes we get so self-centered and it's like, why is she being mean to me? Why is she talking to me like that? Why won't she just make me my coffee? Like me. But guess what? None of that, like you just said, it wasn't for me. And very well could have been Jesus being like, hey, I want you to introduce this girl to me. Be nice. Be nice or bust, Bailey.
Yeah.
I love that.
But then in turn, like, how do you feel about it? You're like, you can walk away from the situation saying, like, you know, maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe she was going through something that I have no idea anything about, and I will not.
Right.
But you know, I know that I was kind and that
I did my part. Mm-hmm. I did my part. That's something that, like, over the last 2 years, I've really been working on. Yeah. Like, I'm doing what Jesus asks me to do. I'm doing my part. It may not be easy for me. I may be anxious about the outcome. I may be still worried that someone's like, quote unquote, mad at me or not happy with me, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and that's all I can do.
Yeah. But the thing with that too is like it turns around everyone else from there. So it's like it started with her.
Right.
And it could have put you in a bad mood, which could have made you in a bad mood here, which could have put me in a bad mood.
Well, that's actually what I thought about. I was like, like I'm literally about to go film with Kristen. I don't want to be annoyed because when one of us shows up annoyed, it gets the other one like tense. Like, oh no, this is supposed to be fun. Like, why are we? And it's like I didn't want to bring that energy. I literally was having like speed thoughts in my head when she went to get the manager. Like, hold on, this is where you can turn this around. Because I really was, and I was like, can I check out here? Because I got us these little flowers. Really, I need them for my kitchen too. So I'm like, I'm gonna get some flowers. I got a little chicken wrap, and I'm like, can I check? Because she just wasn't like taking it. And I'm like, can I buy these here too? She's like, you can.
I don't really want you to.
So if you don't want to scan them, I'll just go wait in line. Like, I was just like, oh, okay. Like, it was just so uncomfortable. So when she walked away, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
You know, like you can turn this around, and she may keep being mean to you, but like you can be nice. There's no reason for you to be mean to her. You don't know her. Again, no clue what's happening in her life. So when I turned it around, I'm not even kidding. Like, I literally watched her, because I bet you more people than not, like when she's snappy, people snap back, or they're just like, well, I'm just not gonna talk to you, you know, because who wants to like be like yelled at the grocery store?
Right.
Like, I was like, man, we're in a fight. We don't even know each other. We're on our first date. We're fighting, girl. Like, golly.
Yeah.
But after the fact, I was just like thinking, I'm like, hopefully I turned her spirits around enough to like get her through her work day. But also,
every single other person she encounters is now gonna I would say more times than not is gonna have a different experience with her, right? Because you were kind.
I hope.
So instead of going this way, hopefully for the rest of the day
switch
we'll
it
go this
around.
way. Yeah.
And that's like, we can so easily do that for each other, like all the time, if we could just give grace.
Why it matters who is in your circle.
Y'all, that circle do be important.
It is.
We've said it once, we'll say it again, we'll say it a million times. If your circle is not right, fix it.
You become.
Fix it. Pray on it right now that God removes those people from your life, because it is not easy. I will literally be the one to say it. It is not easy to remove them yourself. Almost always do we make excuses. We're like, this is fine. I love them. They love me. It's going to work. It's easy. I don't want to fight. I don't want confrontation. Pray on it. Get them out of your circle immediately. I just got hot.
Yo, we are unhinged today.
Unhinged, but seriously, like, get them out, baby. If it don't even make a full circle anymore, it goes down to a decimal point. Get you a decimal point.
But you become who you are around. You become.
Yes.
They say.
It's so true.
They say, show me your friends, I'll show you who you are.
Yep.
Right? Like, show me what you're consuming. What are you consuming every day?
Yeah, it's so true.
What are these people speaking over you? What are they
so true.
breathing into you?
Is it good or is it not? Do you feel peace about it? Are you anxious about it? Because when you step back and look, like later, like years down the line, you look at who God removed, you're like, oh, beep. That was a close one. But you're like, thank you. Oh, man. Like, that was not good for me. Like,
right.
And you really do start to kind of believe your circle, like, people are telling you, like, their beliefs, how they feel, what happened in their day. I mean, you have no choice but to start consuming some of that, and your brain gets a little twisted. You start, like we even said, if I would have came here annoyed, I would have rubbed off on you, because you would have been like, oh, great, she's anxious, and that's kind of annoying because we're supposed to be, like, happy and do it, and, like, it trickles. So, right. But we're pretty good about being like,
check yourself.
Hey, we haven't seen each other in 2 weeks. You better cheer up, Buttercup, because this is our time to shine.
Shining.
We always have
to. All of this, I've been losing my mind. Don't. Y'all don't want to hear me sing.
On episode 1, you said you would never sing, and you just did.
Yeah, but
never sing, never. We really have to, like, always, like, a song just hits.
I'm sweating.
Y'all, seriously, y'all better give grace or else.
Can I finish this paragraph?
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew this would happen.
Sorry, I put a pin in this and
take that pin out and keep it.
Okay. Exclamation point is there. Moving on. All right. We don't have to do anything to earn it. In fact, we can earn it or buy it. We simply accept it. Oh, sorry. I messed up.
You see how
I'm going to go back.
Rewind.
We don't have to do anything to earn it. In fact, we can't earn it or buy it. We simply accept it by believing that Jesus, God's Son, died for our sins so we wouldn't have to. In God's mercy, he accepts the punishment for our sin and rebellion that we deserve, so that we may receive his unconditional forgiveness and the promise of eternal life with him. It sounds too good to be true, but that is the very definition of mercy and grace. God's ultimate act of grace is an example of how we are to extend grace to others. We are to be quick to forgive, hasty in extending kindness, generous in love, even when others don't deserve it. And if God was merciful toward us despite our sin, how merciful should we be towards those who have wronged us?
That is, like, so good. Isn't that so good?
Exclamation point.
Isn't that a good paragraph?
It is really good.
Do you need to take a picture of that?
I don't. I have a question.
Okay. I want to take a picture. I just, like, take pictures of stuff like that, and then they go nowhere. Like,
you want to put this as your background?
You know how many mornings I'm just like, oh, good verse, and, like, take a picture of it, and I'm like,
yeah, but maybe you don't even know, like, on your worst days when you're, like, going through trying to find a picture of something for your salon,
you might see that
picture and be like,
or like,
I needed this reminder
on
today.
This day 2 years ago, and then you're like, whoo, he's working.
You're like, remember that time I was in the lowest spot?
Yeah.
And, like,
I just, like, love that because it just is so, like, relatable and, like, so just easy to understand.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, go with you.
You ready for my question?
I'm ready. You have a question. I'm a little nervous.
You're nervous for my question?
Yeah. Is it a question to me?
Yeah. I mean, this is, like, for the people.
Or to our followers in Brazil.
Drop down into the comments if you have an answer.
Comment below.
We want to hear from y'all a little bit more.
Yeah. Can y'all talk?
so we can come back and like
Discuss.
banter with it a little.
Yeah.
But when it says this, like, how merciful should we be towards those who have wronged us? How merciful should we be towards ourselves?
Like, so merciful.
When we do something that we're not proud of, or we feel guilty for doing, or we know we've hurt somebody, like, or we've hurt ourselves in the decisions we've made, like, where should we go with that?
So I honestly feel like the same way we would say with another person, or the way Jesus does for us, like he's doing it for us so we can do it for others. And that includes you. So you have to give yourself grace. You have, like I was saying earlier, like you have to be merciful in these situations, because if not, you're going to like spiral and start to be like, I can't believe I did that. I'm not deserving of God's love. I'm not going to even open my Bible today because I did X, Y, and Z. I'm not deserving. I'm going to just keep walking away. And then before you know it, you're spending the day with Satan himself.
Oof.
Is that right? Did I get it?
Basically, should that be the end?
Did I get an A+
Should that be the end?
answer of the question?
I think so.
But like truly, Satan attacks us when we're already like weak and we're like trying to get close to God, but we have a lot going on, and he's going to keep piling. And then all of a sudden you have all his thoughts in your head that you're believing, and you're just like, I don't deserve grace. Like, I did that to her, or I said that about him.
Do you feel like it's harder? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all right. I'm just saying the same thing I've said before.
Do you feel like it's harder to forgive yourself or give yourself grace than it is to extend it to somebody else? Because I do. I will say that, like...
I think I'm the opposite.
Really?
I think I'm like, I don't know. I think it's so personal between me and God when I do stuff wrong that I know, like, if he can forgive me, I can forgive me, and I can be better from this.
Yeah.
But when someone hurts me or does wrong to me or says something about me,
you hang on to it a little longer.
I am like, I want to forgive, but that really hurt.
Yeah.
I don't really like hurt myself, if that makes sense. Like, I get more caught up on like things I do or like you should be doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I think I'm pretty good at giving myself grace.
Like, I still, and I shouldn't, I know I shouldn't, but I do, like, big things that I've done wrong. Like, and they may not be, like, super wrong to, like, somebody else that's sitting at a table with me, like, they're wrong.
You actually do, now that I'm thinking about it.
I hold on to
you hold on to you don't forgive yourself.
No, I don't forgive myself. And you're
mad at yourself. And then you're like, but you do get like that,
take,
all right?
I do.
Now that
and I take, like, full responsibility.
Yes,
like,
you carry it, and you're like, I did that. I shouldn't have done that. And now I'm the worst. I am the worst. This is why X, Y, and Z is happening to me. I'm getting punished. Like,
and I'm
you're
like,
that.
I know that, like, God has forgiven me for it, and I know that I have recognized that I did something wrong.
You are right.
Yeah.
We are different in that.
It's really hard for me. And I wish it wasn't. I wish I could say, like, I really made a mistake. I was in, like, a really faulty, weird spot, and, like, I was weak in that moment, and so I went with you could go this way or this way, and I went the worst way.
Okay, but can you just forgive yourself? Put your right hand up. I, Kristen Quick. Forgive myself for being a silly goose.
Forgive myself for being a silly goose.
Amen.
Amen.
And I promise to continue to forgive myself.
I promise.
And give myself grace. Because really, like, if that's heavy on you, like, you, like, can't forgive yourself and, like, move on. Like, you can't. I'm pretty good. I, like, really think I am actually pretty good at being, like.
I think that's why I sit in seasons for a little bit longer than I should. Because I, like, really do sit and reflect about, like, what I did, how it went down, blah, blah, blah,
how it affected this person.
Or how it could. Even things that, like, don't happen, I think to myself, like.
But if this happened.
Well, what if this
stemmed from this, and then that was my fault,
and then I could have hurt this person and this person, or
but like you didn't even hurt them, so like your future trip, like you're making things up straight up. You're straight up a silly goose.
I am being a silly goose, but that's
real.
Happens.
That's real. Like, I have been there, but I do think, like, the older I get and the more mature I get, I'm able to kind of like grip onto certain situations, like let go of some, and
Move
like I hold
forward.
on to some. I'm more of a like, I don't like people to be mad at me, or like I heard someone said something about me. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I literally am gonna have diarrhea now. Sorry. But like,
Yo, you
I
wanna
like literally get
vomit.
sick when
Screaming,
I hear
crying,
like,
throwing up.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I get sick. Like that's the kind of stuff that's like, but like last night after I yelled at my kids, I was super guilty. I was laying in bed. I literally was crying because I was just like, that was so messed up with me. And then I was just like, no, you're going to give yourself grace. You had a long day. They had a long day. You need to forgive yourself because you are a good mom. You know you're a good mom. You love your children. Everything you do is for your children. They probably won't remember this tomorrow. And I was able to really talk myself through it and like go to sleep. And this morning I apologized to both of them. They're like, for what? I'm like,
Okay.
when I yelled at y'all, they're like, what? Like, and you know, like we make things up so much sometimes in our heads. I'm like, they're going to hate me. Ezra starts kindergarten this week and he's going to be like, I'm so glad I'm going back to school. My mom's psycho. Like I was thinking like all these things. I literally texted some of my mom friends. I'm like, I'm a horrible mom. I just snapped at both of them and they're like, no, you're not. Like it's normal.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, I like kind of talked through it, felt through it. And then I was like,
okay, moving on.
Moving on. You are forgiven from everyone, including the children. Like next.
And then there's me that's like, if this conversation would have went like one way differently, what would I have done? Or like,
you do that.
Why did I fall into that trap? Oh, I caught myself doing it yesterday. I was driving home.
It's so silly how different we really are. But then like a lot of the stuff about you that you like say, like I just know you. So we like talk through these kind of things, but now like when you're like bringing it like to light like this, I'm like, yes, you do start saying, but what if I would have done da 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 da, or what if I would have said this? Would we still be here? You can't do that.
I know.
But that's all right.
My therapist tells me that a lot. She
says you can't make that up.
She's like, you literally hold on to so many things. And like,
and then make up 6 scenarios that they would have gone a few different ways. Like which one should you have picked? But you didn't get to pick any because they're in the past already.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Am I okay?
Do you need a hug?
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Great.
I know, you Gucci.
I'm great. I just like, that's where my mind goes.
I
and
think
like
that's
when
normal.
when I sit in silence, you know, or like this happens a lot when I'm driving. Like,
yeah.
Depends on.
Because you have time to like really think. And you're like, remember 6 years ago when I said this to so-and-so?
Remember
Literally.
in the gossip episode, the sweet tea episode, I was talking about how like I still hang on to that. Like
Have you talked to her since?
Yeah, we talk about it.
I mean, y'all have talked about that.
We talked about it, and she's like, oh, I remember.
But
yeah,
she's fine.
Yeah.
So we got.
She's like one of my best friends.
I know, it's hilarious.
But it's still.
You're like, I still can't believe I did that.
No, it's still something that really weighs on me, and I'm like,
you gotta, yeah.
Why did that matter?
And the truth is, like, especially if the person forgave you for it already, you already know Jesus did, like, you better forgive yourself for it. Like, that, we all do things that we shouldn't do. We all do things that we're not proud of, like, all the time.
Yeah.
It may not be as bad as murdering someone. I know that's, like, the top of the line. It's, like, the worst thing you could do. But, like we said before, all sins are equal, and it could be enough that it makes you feel as if you murdered someone. Like your guilt and everything like eats you alive, and you're like, okay, chill out. You did like this could have been so much worse. Like you literally didn't do anything wrong. Like, but we get so hard on ourselves because we just want to we don't want to mess up. It doesn't feel good to mess up as a human or like hurt people or even like someone hurting you or rejection, like any form of rejection that's yucky. Like there's so many things that like make us as people just like shut down.
Yeah.
Like our thoughts make us shut down, but you have to give yourself grace in all scenarios. Like whether you're the mean one, the nice one, like what side you're on in the argument, like wherever you are, like really just take a moment to think about it before you act on it, because usually when we act like immediately on a situation, it's
Things
not
ain't good.
great. Like when someone sends you a text and you're like, immediately emotions are going and you just answer back and then you read it in like 30 minutes and you're like, yeah, I could have left that out.
I've learned that about myself.
Yes, like process.
If something's going on,
then
like I used to be a reactor, and now I'm not, because I learned
Yes.
that nothing good was coming from
Your reaction.
from my reaction.
That's how I feel like I've grown out of that too. I think that's probably just something with like you go through stuff that you eventually are like, okay, that's not working.
And I think like texting became big like as we were growing
Yes,
up. You
so
know, we used to
words-
go do like, you know, all the numbers on the numbers. I could do it with my
Me
eyes
too.
closed,
I
right?
could literally spell hey right now.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Right. But like that's where we, you know, so texting came about as we were growing up, and it's like if somebody didn't respond to you within 2 minutes, like they were mad at you, or like they didn't like you anymore,
Literally.
they didn't want to hang out with you, like that's where we were, because these devices were in our hands all the
Yes.
time. And
This
I
is
know
such a good point.
and I know like even now, you know, my phone's in my hand
24/7.
a lot. Not right now.
Ooh, where is
It's over there on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, there
I've
it
gotten
is.
better.
Bye.
I've gotten better about setting the boundaries.
I
and
love
like,
that.
When I go to dinner, I like to put it on Do Not Disturb, and I
Yes.
like to sit it in my purse.
Yep.
Like,
Because we're so used to like having it 24/7.
Yeah.
We're having to like break old habit, like
But
things
you
that we
know-
thought were right or the norm. Like we
you know,
have to
like
break them.
if somebody texts you and you don't respond to them, and then like you're scrolling on Instagram, and like you share a story or something, like to me that's a little mindless. And sometimes I can't look at a text or respond
Yes.
because I'm not there, like energetically.
I saw something about this the other day. It was a
Okay.
meme, and it was like, hey sis, I just want to let you know, like when I see you post on your stories or reshare a quote, but you haven't answered my text, that's okay, because that is your form of like relaxation, mindless scrolling.
Yeah.
Answering a text requires like, is she asking me what time I have to be somewhere? Is she asking me whatever, or does she want to hang out? Whatever. Like mindlessly scrolling on Instagram is just like, I'm in the tub, I'm gonna scroll. When I'm in the tub relaxing, I don't want to sit there and like answer all the texts from the day. So like you doing that is your like free time. It's your downtime.
Yeah.
You're not trying to like hurt someone's feelings for not answering.
Well, and like someone asked me this morning, they asked me a question, I responded to it, and then they were like, okay, thank you so much, like how are you doing? But I was already in the middle of doing something else.
Right.
And I saw it, but I left it unread because I'm like, I don't want to respond to this.
Right.
And respond really fast as I'm like going from doing my makeup to walking in my car.
Right.
And just to respond. Like
Exactly.
I want to respond and be intentional with my response. And I don't want to just
And I think that's something we used to like you said when we were younger, like you had to like text back like so fast. And I'm to the point where I'm like, I have fully accepted that my return, like my text message return is truly like 5 to 7 business days, like genuinely. And that's not even
What
like
about your phone calls?
years uncalled back, probably.
Okay.
I'm probably not going to call anyone ever.
This is funny too.
I don't like to talk on the phone.
The other day I was like I had woken up, and I am not a morning person. I know we've talked about this. If you're just tuning in, I don't like the mornings. People were calling me, like when I tell you this morning that I woke up, I had like 9
missed calls,
and I just kept I literally, like a few of them I missed because I was still sleeping, but some of them I literally watched them come through, but I was not in a place to have a conversation yet.
Yeah, like your voice didn't even work yet. Like,
I know myself, and like I have to give myself at least, like, you know, people have to wind down to go to bed.
You have
like,
to wind up.
I gotta wind up.
Someone has to wind
it up. Let's get Gwen Stefani
Someone
playing.
has to wind it
Yoda
up.
lady, yoda love. This is the beat that makes us wind up when the boys press on the girls all wind up. Okay.
What is wrong with
I
that?
don't know.
But
We're in a
no,
mood today. But
yeah,
I know that. And so, like, I know that if I would have answered those phone calls, like,
you
nothing
could
good's coming out of
have
it.
been like, just not nice.
Yeah, and I
Like,
know that. But I know that about myself,
Yeah,
so I am not
that's
going
good.
to
You're
answer
like,
the
no,
phone.
no, I will call you after 12 o'clock when I can.
Okay. That's dramatic.
That is dramatic, but you know.
It's not after 12 o'clock. I made like 4 phone calls today.
On the way here, probably.
Yeah.
Working in your car.
Yeah. it's
But
fine.
no, I'm like, I seriously am like, I used to give myself so much like guilt and be so angry at myself for not answering people's text messages because I felt bad, and I was like, oh, they're probably, and that was a nice message, but like I just don't. And someday, like sometimes it takes like a couple days, and then I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
What about when you send somebody a text message that's really heavy on your heart and it takes them days to respond and you're like, cool, they just posted 3 TikToks and they are responding in the Snapchat group and like I see all the things that they're posting and that they're doing, but like they can't respond to me?
Yeah, and I'm sure people feel like that about me sometimes.
But we just sometimes.
But like when people do it to me, I'm like, so mad.
Yeah,
I'm like, just send me a quick text like, hey, I got to think about this. I'll answer you later. No, don't send me that. That'll really make me spiral. Don't send me that. I guess just don't answer me.
Yeah.
I guess just bye. I'm just going to throw my phone in the water.
And sometimes I'm like, unless it's pressing, like,
I know. And I miss pressing stuff too, just because I'm like, like, I'm not, I can't. Like, I get anxious and I'm like, I can't answer this right now. Like, I just can't. I'm driving or my kid's screaming and I'm just like, I can't focus on it. I'll do it when I can. And then I often forget.
Yeah, like yesterday I texted Bailey and she didn't respond to me for like 6 or 7 hours. And I was like, cool, she doesn't even want to talk to me. We haven't even seen each other in 2 weeks. And then I was like, no, Sunday. She's probably like in the pool with her kids. Like they're just having a family day and like she'll get back to this later. And then like hours go by.
Oh,
like,
no, Kristen.
Is she all right? So then I'm like checking her location.
I'm so sorry. See? I'm sorry. This is a public apology to everyone who I have affected with my major ADHD, lack of texting skills. I told one of a new client like last week, it's a girl I know through, she's also a hairstylist. She asked me to do her hair. I'm like, yes, absolutely. And we start texting and like it would take me like days to respond. And she would like, hey, just checking in. I'm like, oh gosh, I'm sorry. And I like had to tell her when I saw her, I'm like, it is part of who I am. I don't text. I'm not good at it. My response is truly like 3 days is my minimum most of the time. And she was like, I'm glad to know that now. Like, because I was just like, man, why isn't she answering me?
My hair.
Yes. And I'm like, no. It's just who I am. I've accepted it. I need us all to accept it together. If it's an emergency, I guess just like call Kristen and she'll get in touch with me.
I'll check your location and I'll come.
She'll check my location. I'm sorry to leave you like hanging like that.
Oh, it's okay.
I really was in the pool.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't anything like super
But
important.
was that the text that I said I had typed up and I forgot to hit send?
No.
Because I do that all the time. And so she texted me again. So when I went back to my phone, I had a text sitting there that I just never hit send.
Okay.
I do that to everyone too. I'm like, hey, so this is from last week.
Okay, but let's go to this though. But that was me. Like I sent it and I had the thought, I had the feeling of like, oh, she just doesn't want to answer me. She doesn't want to do it. Okay. And like, obviously I know that's not true.
Canceling the podcast.
I know that that's not true. But also at the same time, like I had to check myself of like, okay, Kristen, you're not doing anything today. Like you're reorganizing your life for the week. So this is the time that you have. But like, she has a husband and 3 kids.
Right. Like we're on different time schedule, like, even just in that day. You know?
I had to see it from a different, and not necessarily like give you grace.
Right.
But it kind of goes hand in hand.
In that moment, like we were saying, like
I had to look at
step back.
Her situation's totally different than mine. Sometimes I don't know what she's going through. She could have been having the worst day ever.
Could have, but luckily it was a pretty good day.
One of my other friends yesterday, I texted her and I'm like, hey girl, like, I know that this is going on and I know that this is going on and you may be doing this, but like you haven't responded. You haven't called me back and you haven't responded to the 2 text messages I've sent in the last 2 days. So I'm just making sure you're alive.
Yeah.
2 hours later, she called me and she's like, oh, it's just been a whirlwind. Like, I am so sorry. Yes, I'm alive. I'm like, okay, look, we don't even, she's like, okay, we can chat. I'm like, no, we don't have to chat right now.
I'm just checking.
I was just making sure you're okay.
Like, I'm just checking. But that's like the perfect example of we just don't know what, even in people's just regular daily lives, like you just don't know what people are going through.
You don't.
And it's so easy to make assumptions. It's so easy to be like, make things about yourself. Like we were saying, like me, like, why isn't she answering me? Why, like, I have time right now. Does she not want to talk about this? Like, da-da-da. But when you took a step back and you were just like, wait, she has that family like that. It's Sunday. They're probably swimming. Like, duh, she doesn't have her phone in the pool. You know, that, like, you're just like, hold up. Like, take a step back. And similar to the conversation with the girl at Whole Foods. Like, it was just like, hold on a second. Like, let me reevaluate this before I take this in the whole wrong direction.
And
so
you can always choose like how you respond.
you can
to
really,
things.
yeah, you can choose.
It's your choice.
It is your choice. And it is how many dollars to be kind?
FREE, that spells free.
It is free to be nice, y'all.
Yeah.
Takes no money, no effort. You just be nice.
Takes more effort to be unkind.
It really does, because
So
then
just
you
be
have to
nice.
kind of think about like, what's my comeback gonna be?
But then you spend more time after
Yeah,
that
and your energy is just
drowning
off.
in it.
Yeah, it's
And you didn't make
it's
anybody
not
feel good.
It's not good. So y'all, we got to be out there giving the grace, giving the mercy, just knowing that that is what Jesus does for us. So why can't we do it for the people around us?
Yep. And I think we should finish with this.
Finish it with that, girl.
Psalm 103, verses 8 through 10.
I love this one. This
You
is
do?
the one I read earlier that I was like, we should read this one, but I didn't tell you.
Oh,
That's the one.
well, it's really great.
Read it.
The Lord is compassionate and merciful, slow to get angry and filled with unfailing love. He will not constantly accuse us, nor remain angry forever. He does not punish us for all our sins. He does not deal harshly with us as we deserve.
That's so good.
So don't do it to anybody else. I think that's
Don't do it, y'all. Be nice. Give grace.
be kind. It's
Don't
free.
punish people.
Be kind. It's free.
Jesus doesn't punish us.
Have a great day.